Hi, everyone. This is Victoria Myson from Guide Real Estate in the Greater Sacramento area. We're here today to answer some of the top questions that we're getting from our clients regarding real estate and real estate financing. To answer some of our questions regarding financing and mortgages, I want to welcome to our studio the founder of the Vanguard Mortgage Group, Yuri Baturenko. Hi. Hi, Yuri. Welcome.
Victoria. And I guess there was a slight delay on the internet, but I'm happy to be here in the studio with you and answer questions that you or your clients might have, and then maybe give quick update on what is happening on the market. So let's
Yes.
talk about it.
Awesome. Sounds good. All right. Well, let's jump into it. First question that I kind of get questions on mortgages. There's different kind of mortgages, obviously different programs. Kind of the basic question is 30-year versus 15-year. I mean, our clients are seeing, mortgage rates that are different for those type of loans. So just wanted to
Right.
talk about 30-year versus 15-year advantages, disadvantages, and some of your thoughts on that.
Correct. It's good because when people talk about mortgages, and for me the standard is 30-year, and then for some people it's totally different because some people don't like that, so they want to get rid of it very quickly.
Right.
So then 15-year mortgage is a much better solution for them, or even 10 year mortgage is much better solution for them, and that's actually what they're looking for when they call me and ask, hey, can I do a mortgage? They have in mind 15-year mortgage. But let's talk about main differences and what it entails. So the biggest difference, and then also for people who hunt rates, it's super important. So the main difference between 15 years, sorry, not old, 15-year and 30-year mortgage is the way that it amortizes. So 30-year, obviously, you complete payments and your house becomes debt free after 30 years. So it's like 360 payments that you have to make. Whereas 15-year mortgage, it's only 180. But because it's a cumulative interest rate, right? And that you would think that, oh, if it's double the time, it would be double the payment. It's quite not like that because of the way that the mortgage amortizes. So typically, when you're talking about 15-year mortgage versus 30, the payment would be only about 40% higher than on 30-year mortgage, right?
Okay.
Which makes it kind of
Much more.
right. But we'll talk about it in a minute. What I want to point out is the rates. So the rates of 15-year mortgage, because it's less risk for the bank, because they consider that you will pay it faster, first of all. Second, banks make money only initially. When the longer you hold mortgage, the less profit bank makes. They don't like to keep mortgage. That's why real estate cycles, and there is a whole theory about it. But banks don't like to loan time mortgages because they want to make interest in the beginning, and then they want to get rid of that mortgage because it's not profitable anymore. So 15-year, it's less risk for them and it's more likable mortgage. So what they offer is a lower interest rate on the 15-year mortgage, and sometimes the difference could be 1%. And if we're talking about 5.5% versus 4.5%, it's a significant difference in payment, so that derives from the rate. Now, let's talk about amortization. So let's say that if you are taking 30-year mortgage, but you're making payments as you would with the same rate on a 15-year mortgage. You understand? That makes sense. So if you would be making payments on 15-year mortgage with the 5.5, you're making same payment on 30-year. And then guess what's going to happen? It's going to get paid exactly in 15 years. So if interest rate is not an issue, I would recommend 30-year mortgage because there is always a cushion, right? So if you want to make extra payment towards principal and you make it exactly the same as you would in 15-year mortgage or slightly more, you will finish it faster. But then if you cannot afford it for some reason, something happened, then obviously you have that cushion of a lower payment. Another is to look at, what we looked in general. But when you're a consumer and you're looking at the mortgage, obviously you want to know what would you need to qualify. So with the 15-year mortgage, you would need a higher income, and it's about 20 to 30% higher income to get qualified for the 15-year mortgage.
Mhm.
Otherwise, it's
I
a
see.
choice of, yes, it's a choice of the consumer. It's a great option that banks offer, and it's very good that it comes at the lower rate. So for those who have a great income and the rate is of high importance, this is a great product.
Mhm. Okay, cool.
All right. So now I want to ask you something. I know you do a lot of you work on also with the buyers and sellers of real estate,
Mhm.
obviously. And I mean, I don't really deal with the sellers, but I think it would be great for both of our clients if they would have information, because I do know
Yeah.
that some people, I mean, those who buy, they eventually sell. So it's interesting for them to know also what
Yeah.
would be the top things that uh, people would need to consider when putting house on the market for sale.
Mhm.
Is
Yeah.
it better,
Love
faster,
to.
or expensive?
Yeah. I'd love to get into that. And these are some of the questions that I'm getting a lot lately from sellers. I love sellers, so I definitely work with sellers and buyers. So for sellers, I mean, the market has definitely changed. So I mean, if you list your house a year ago, it would be able to be sold within hours, and you didn't have to do a single thing to it. So the market's kind of normalized a bit more, just to kind of get back to what how real estate usually is. So some of the things that are really important just to get your house. I mean, you obviously need to price it right, but what are the things that you actually need to do to your house cosmetically, physically? And the top thing I always tell my clients, if you're going to do one thing, um, the top thing is to declutter as much as you can, just to take away all the extra things, on the counters, in the living rooms, depersonalize it as much as you can. Any photos, any family photos, I know you love them, but definitely try to get rid of those. So do a deep cleaning, and just donate any items that are kind of that you've been needing to donate. So that's my top tool, my top tip for that. And then secondly is curb appeal. So when the client pulls up to the house, it's kind of the first impression of the house. Just like you make snap judgments about people when you first meet them. It's just psychology, first impression. So curb appeal. So anything that you could do to kind of brighten up the house, if it's paint on the outside, if it's any kind of landscaping, pressure washing. Yeah, even like a new welcome mat. I mean, that makes a big difference. Yeah,
Small personal things, they might be cute for you, but they might not be. And then these are the things that you notice first, and then they
exactly.
create impression. So yeah, it's much easier if it's like general, just
Mhm.
like everything else, then the location will win, and then other things. But then if you focus on something that might be like,
Exactly. Yeah. You love it. Your grandma gave it to you, or your kid gave it to you. It's on your wall, but you should probably take it down just so your house just appears clean. I mean, you look in a magazine or you go into a model house or staged house and you're kind of in love with it, and you don't really know why. And these are really the things, just a clean look, anything that will brighten your home, interior, exterior paint. Any deferred maintenance items is also a great thing to take a look at. Any holes in the drywall, little things here and there. It doesn't cost you a lot, but it makes such a huge difference, such a big ROI. And then lastly, as you're working with your agent to list your house, one of the things I recommend always is to at least do a pest inspection. If you kind of have that done up front, then it kind of gives buyers ideas. And if it comes back, you don't have any surprises while you're in escrow. It's not going to come back with like $20,000 with this pest inspection in section one items. So that's just something. I mean, it costs probably $140 just to do that, and it's such a headache. It removes any headaches from escrow, kind of with those items. Yeah. So those are
my
kind of cool
out of
items.
right, my understanding out of what you said is, again, it's my personal understanding. It has
Yeah.
nothing to do with a professional overview of the, if you sell in the house that is in a good shape, it has to be exactly in the move-in condition where you don't need to do anything like patch small things, because that's like, if basically if you're buying something that is in a good shape, you would want to move in, not do anything. If you buy something
Exactly.
that requires a renovation, then those things probably will be not as relevant as they would be even in a house that is in a good shape.
Yeah, 100%. As turnkey and as headache-free as you can get your home, the more attractive it'll be to buyers. And you want your house to stand out. And these are some of the top items that are really, really, really make a difference.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, of course. Well, back to kind of financing, real estate financing. There's been so many changes in the markets. I mean, every day I'm kind of checking the news, what's going on. You're kind of our professional, not kind of, you're a professional. So can you tell us a little bit about what's happening? I know you do a lot of research and a lot of homework on this every day. So can
Right.
you
Well, we'll talk today. We'll talk about the biggest thing that is today. The new data came out about July inflation this morning, and
okay.
the forecast was that it will be at 8.7% versus 9.1 in June.
So
But
it's
actually,
down.
yeah, it actually came lower. It came at 8.5, which is great news for us. But
It's great.
again, this is just what they say. We don't know if it's for real they covered it or not. But let's think that they did, and then that means that they can tap themselves on the shoulder and say, "Yeah, we are doing the right thing. We hiking rates, and then it finally worked, and then we slowed down we limited the amount of money in
True.
the economy, reduced that, and then inflation is going down. We are on the right path, but that's fine. What it is in for us that is that the Fed said that they also keep eye on the inflation, and this is a critical data for them for their
Mhm.
next meeting. And they said that if they curb the inflation just a little bit, if they stop it, not slow it down, but stop it, then most likely they will skip next rate hike. What it means for us is then they won't be September rate hike for 0.5%, 1/4%, or 3/4. They
Yes.
just keep it the way it is, and that means that we can breathe out a little bit and say that okay, for next month we
Yes.
probably
Please.
good with a slight fluctuation of rates. There won't be any major moves on the market. So rates are at fives at the moment. I mean, lower five, between 5.25 with no
Mhm.
origination points, which is great considering inflation 8.5. So we have
Mhm.
advantage of 3.5% between mortgage rate and rate of inflation. It's a great
Yeah.
time to utilize that and actually buy. If you can afford property at the moment with your income and with the current rate, it's a
Mhm.
great time to buy in California, especially because you have room to negotiation now. And that is my question to you now. What do you see in the market today, and some maybe short-term projection?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that definitely ties into what you were saying with inflation. Kind of, I mean, we kind of had a scary moment, some scary moments back in April, May, June, with I think what did we top out at in the sixes, right, for interest rates in June?
Yes,
Yeah,
we've
yeah. So
been
I mean,
below
that was
6.
a sharp increase, and everybody was kind of super. Um, a lot of people were shocked and a lot of people were spooked. So that definitely made a difference on sales, on pendings, and all those stats that we're seeing. But now it's kind of like you're saying, inflation has increased a bit. Interest rates have come down. Unemployment rate actually last week has reached pre-pandemic levels. So it's the lowest it's been since 1969. So all those items and all those factors are kind of I have, all a lot of buyers that were spooked back in, May, June, July are kind of coming back around in August and kind of, wanting to get back in, sending me listings that they're looking at, asking if I can show it to them. So it's looking better. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But as of now, yeah, things are looking better for buyers, which is exciting. So and that of course will look better for sellers, and it'll be interesting to see what the stats are at the end of the month for pendings, and hopefully sales will go up as well.
Right. Um,
Yeah.
Well, it did actually, yes, it did scare people. It did curb the market a little bit. It was a slowdown, but the thing is that it's actually good in the sense that it gives
Mhm.
buyers, because to be in a seller market for extended time, you get tired of it. Buyers get
Yeah,
tired of it because it's hard to negotiate, it's hard to find.
hard.
So that even if the level of inventory is not increasing that much, but I mean it balances out at least, and that is great.
Yeah,
So
it's
slowing
good.
down of the market is good in this situation, and I don't mean stop. I mean balancing out. So slowing down a little bit
100%.
of the amount of buyers that go into the market. It has to be amount of buyers that exactly matches amount of sellers. Then it's great.
Yeah. In a perfect world, we're getting there.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Well, awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here, Yuri, and thank you everybody that's tuned in. We appreciate you guys, and if you have any other questions, just feel free to reach out. We're always just a phone call away, a text away. Just reach out. I'm looking forward to working with you.
Thank you very much, Victoria.
Awesome.
See you soon, friends, and see you again.